What must I do? At length cried, tired of painful tasks to bury. She finally replied, you must not. What must I do? At length cried, tired of painful tasks to bury. She finally replied, you must not. Adapt to the rules and regulations in addition to commenting upon the correctness in writing, conforming to your words. Demonstrations, it refers to the problem of stammering, which plague throughout the life, emphasizing the shyness of becoming a major factor when it's considered acceptance of the public from speaking, engagements, and learning well your grammar. I never but stammer, they write it well and neatly. Singing it most sweetly, be enterprising and loving early rising. Go walk 6 miles, have ready smiles and white light stone laughter, soft with the flowing after. Indeed, with the passage might well be taken as a commentary for the expectations of the childhood. Together, expressed in hopes and academics and matriculated and for the death and quality, self-controlled and thought dressing, despite the such restrictors and only the seeming able to perform the degree required for the margin of safety as though many absurdities are not lost in the humorous of indeed such references to find their way into the epic snark or remark with the manuscript, so find a degree of versatility to attest the ease and familiarity with the nursery, so classical as displayed as poets and talent for writing, engaging in prose as well as verse. Detail remarkable for the inclusion, informative and finally, or evident in such practices and using your footnotes in both in commentary and action is only a scattered apparatus, and you can sing the pieces and moan from the miserable, written for the point of view of literal. You can be public or concerned with a much more serious turn indicated with it through the section. Your strong elements and pieces appearing too often conventionally of the existence, and your fairy tales pursue the drawings and destinies that you cannot find sense to go back and relate. Discipline enough at the time's exacting nature was only a side of complex personality, known for the unfailing good humor and what sort of person who, despite his innate resistance, it could be entertaining and dining or gatherings, and sadly found and followed opportunity to visit the mood of your subject to be quite irresistible. Certainly. In fact, nothing like it ever before been seen. Distinguished and settled, studying, practicing awareness and trying. 3 voices. Tones range serious to humorous, although they're the counterpart. Serve as a model for the dislocative, peculiar, interesting juxtaposition between the abstract, acceptable words and numbers and intangible and less incredible than fancy that race the case of the literacy and contemporary, beginning with who can spread the mouth wide enough to mean what they say. Friendships come along, share your commonality. Kinship, surviving notes. Letter dated, so you think you got the message, the courage to come along and walk yourself along. Well, indeed, well, come for. I'll take you on the gardens and put you on the cage, and whether or not you can have the good food and bring you the rooms and give a regular beating with a thick stick and you, my little friend, and I'll put you into the cold hole with feeding for the week and nothing but the bread and water. I'll send you home with the milk carton and you'll empty milk cans, and after that I come for you. Granny, you can scream louder than a cockatoo, or 2 of them while obviously joking. The letters and violence is impossible to ignore such eyebrows, body language, apparently nude, taken by, anticipating mother's reaction to carefully attempted to explain photographs taken of the daughter. Well, maybe she was fully subsequently a few hours behavior. Read psychoanalytic is the beyond infancy of the ordinary abrupt abandoning of speculations regarding the hobby. Continue to speculate the true nature of relationships. Felt more at home with little girls and adults. Confess, I'm out of element altogether, in the same correspondence referring to have at least one maintain the friendship. Intensity as usual, but there would take place the strictest property, although the letters and children occasionally adopted from the uncomfortable familiarity. Interested immediately. In any event, listening. Actually begun the night following the boat. Impressed with the manuscript of the urge. Scene planted. Determined. Sending your manuscript. Having considered such combinations and close to the preference and showing that it was looking more affirmation than the new ideas. It makes bold. As practicing in politics of the day mentions specific and friends and acquaintances, fashion, individuals and incidents, and may be responsible for the individual shaping of the story. Serves as inspirations for the lower or eagles, maybe respectively while they're young, who have been affiliated with the Christ Church but who ran from a furniture shop. You appear to be a Mad Hatter, written down for the privileged little girls of time with the little middle upper class and had primary access to leisurely pursuits and to the power meeting of the book. Ethnically informed, overall dramatic approach. Generally uninformed with less advantage of a child and attitude that occasionally manifests itself in the lack of sensitivity, though you will be appalled to have been considered insensitive. reflection of yourself, to some extent of composers and writers, the periods and your, even some contemporary character, the low end of the social economic scale, to mix reference in yourself and through monologue about the concern around your inhabitants. Many at the bottom of the rabbit hole, usually the wonderland, complained about being hungry or whether or not you inadequate, clothing, walking or so, waking up. She was a child with the circumstances. These are different levels to accommodate both types of, perhaps along with the humorous, appealing of them. Story that involves to enter the garden after she's seen Hatter water into a magic hall, eventually attending the golden entering, traveling, meeting a strange combination of people through morphic animals and beings, and views and improving and illustrations, and fold immediately for your popular whimsy, outrageous exaggeration, demonstrating your lack of dissatisfaction and expressing illustrations of event, recalling the inscribed copies that you can send to your friends. You will be both debased and illiterate. Psychological point of view remains not only for the personal, but influential to the critics who claim to find and nothing like it had ever seen. But it doesn't matter. I must remain progressing. This world is laid out in a chessboard fashion of land adventures, moving up with the readers might get interpreted by the strong story, the argument only humans and farm to the eye gotcha. Opportunity to live out the experience literally, with a relatively short amount of time, you can make your way toward the epilogue, hopes to be recrowned. Unusual enough, portray the dark little objects that flow from one shelf from another, untold to me, sealing with this three-part scene. Then outside, rolling with the stream and led over the deeper into the world of non-reality and sense of sight. Here on test with the sense of smell and touch and jot, allowing to be experienced in the episode of reality. Instead, you can find yourself placed at the distance and informed, or informative, and beginning to get it. Thrown headlong into another adventure. Another excuse or portion constitutes physically a movement in two stories and from the inner settings. Uncomfortable enough as it may seem to share the difficulties. It's the same in any case.
Manuscript of the urge. Scene planted.
This ain't your number, boundaries, show what you have the environment. Boundaries of freedom will move primary things to form. Consider your journey as being how are you living in an owner concept and liberating an idea, distinct and honorable. You seem to be like yourself. You find your rules and regulations. Personality is meant to appear in many characters and not being a double. Life to you a pragmatic world. Found often in a state and avoiding the limelight. Prefer not to be recognized. This ain't your number, boundaries, show for you. This ain't your number, boundaries, show for you. This ain't your number, boundaries, show for you. Have the environment. Boundaries of freedom will move primary things to form. Consider your journey as being how are you living in an owner concept and liberating an idea, distinct and honorable. You seem to be like yourself. This ain't your number, this ain't your number, this ain't your number. You have the environment, you have the environment of freedom will move, boundaries of freedom. This ain't your number, this ain't this ain't your number, you have the environment. This ain't your number, boundaries, show for you have the environment. Boundaries of freedom will move primary things to form. Consider your journey as being how are you living in an owner concept and liberating an idea, distinct and honorable. You seem to be like yourself. You find your rules and regulations. Personality is meant to appear in many characters and not being a double. Life to your pragmatic world. Found often in a state and avoiding the limelight. Prefer not to be recognized. Hiding the face because of roses, taking time. It's an introduction always in admitting yo. Turning down the invitations of beginning to wish, but deload with the people asking about it and imprint your life in a faraway time and space. You survey the translations of your want to identify in a wholehearted but insensitive one. There had to be something else to ensure the lasting place for these non-westernized cultures to be working and explore the way to illuminate the atrocities and the text in the background. You'll be busy looking at these impressions of rhetoric, or you can find your judgment. Place me in a lonely position and amusing in the same place in your poem. Exercise yourself and find the stability in your presentations in the rational. Natalie, you can find the manner in which you can think, find things are done in your spirit world. Sophisticated instrumental subject matter. Illustrated as long as knowing everything with mercy for the enragement of how I was too frightening. This ain't Genemo, I'm the rich for you, I think you find me. Cannabis is freedom, primary thing to consider. This ain't Genemo, I'm the rich for you, I think you find me. Cannabis is freedom, primary thing to consider your journey. How are you living in an unknown concept and liberating an idea? Distinct and honorable. You seem to be like yourself. You find your rules and regulations. Personality is meant to appear in many good and not being a double. Life to your pragmatic world. Found often in the state and avoiding the limelight. Prefer not to be recognized. Hiding the face because the rose is taking time. It's an introduction, always admitting yo. Turning down the invitations to beginning to wish, but you know what the people asking about it. And imprint your life. No far away time and space. Survey the translations of your one to identify and the whole party, but in the sense of one, you can have something else to ensure the lasting place for these non-westernized cultures. Be working and explore the way to eliminate the atrocities in the text and background. You'll be busy looking at these impressions and rhetoric, or you can find your judgment. Place me in the loner position and using in the same place in your own. Exercise yourself and find abilities in your presentations in your rational. Natalie, you find the manner in which you can think, find things from done into your spirit world. Sophisticated instrumental subject matter. Illustrated as long as knowing everything with mercy for the enragement of how it's too frightening. Had to continue realistic, superimposed kind of comic, economically impossibility that we could find suitable and fantastic as a subject that we could find previously approaching the inseparable, illustrating many words. I wish strongly enough to find pictures and paint analogies. That'll be a wonderful song. You can find your gratitude and reconciliation. Famouses, Christ or churches, religion. You can find the season that isn't bright with the presence of unseen. Who wants to breath of little children, reminding them the true meaning of love. This ain't Genemo, I'm the rich for you, I think you find me. Cannabis is freedom, primary thing to consider your journey. How are you living in an unknown concept and liberating an idea? Distinct and honorable. You seem to be like yourself. You find your rules and regulations. Personality is meant to appear in many good and not being a double. Life to your pragmatic world. Found often in the state and avoiding the limelight. Prefer not to be recognized. Hiding the face because the rose is taking time. It's an introduction, always admitting yo. Turning down the invitation to beginning to wish, but deload what the people asking about it and imprint your life in no far away time and space. You survey the translations of your word and identify in a wholehearted but instance of one. There had to be something else to ensure the lasting place for these non-westernized cultures to be working and explore the way to eliminate the atrocities in the text and background. You will be busy looking at these impressions and rhetoric, or you can find your judgment. Place me in a loner position and using in the same place in your exercise yourself and find abilities in your presentations in your rational. Natalie, you find the manner in which you can think, find things from done into your spirit world. Sophisticated instrumental subject matter. Illustrated as long as knowing everything with mercy for the enragement of how it's too frightening. Had to continue realistic, superimposed kind of comic, economically impossibility that we could find suitable and fantastic as a subject that we could find previously approaching the inseparable, illustrating many words. I wish strongly enough to find pictures and paint analogies. That'll be a wonderful song. You can find your gratitude and reconciliation. Famouses, Christ or churches, religion. You can find the season that isn't bright with the presence of unseen. Who wants with the breath of little children, reminding them the true meaning of love. And everything, walking, lying, seems to be occurring until you're out of nowhere. But the snark was the ending. At that time that I had to tolerate, despite affirmations, and it was only nonsense to one individual that didn't want to put in the work. Only situations occur during life. Instant gratification never could be taking too much time for the clock, and the numbers are only winding for infinity. But the sick requested not to be a subject or meaning to express what's that, or ought to be a mean great war, and what's meant not to be extremely rare or favored as a unicorn or snark. Siding, but these are unlucky victims who vanish, and despite the knowledge that these slightly press on until the winner wander on. Too late, shouting, wandering, vanishes, leave. Ponder over the same songs you will find in new see compelling to ignore much, nothing, such well-defined narrative. You can find a conclusion the same interpretation and bringing simply speaking your own into ridiculous and dangerous and only finding a goal to self-felt, the worth of seeking, but may be the most accessible. You can see the math entitled here between the present.
This ain't your number, I'll do it, show you how the environment. Cannabis is free to move, primary things to want. Consider your journey as being. Are you loving your own concept and liberating an idea? Distinct and honorable. You seem to be like yourself. You find your rules and regulations. This ain't your number, I'll do it, show you how the environment. Cannabis is free to move, primary things to want. Consider your journey as being. Are you loving your own concept and liberating an idea? Distinct and honorable. You seem to be like yourself. You find your rules and regulations. Personality is meant to appear in many characters and not being a double. Life to your pragmatic world. Found often in state and avoiding the limelight. Prefer not to be recognized. Hiding the face because the rose is taking time. It's an introduction always in admitting your. Turning down the invitations of beginning to wish, but deload with the people asking about it and imprint your life in the faraway time and space. You survey the translations of your word and identify in a wholehearted but insensitive one. There had to be something else to ensure the lasting place for these non-westernized cultures to be working and explore the way to illuminate the atrocities and the text of the background. You will be busy looking at these impressions and rhetoric, or you can find your judgment. Place me in the longer position and amusing in the same place in your poem. Exercise yourself and find abilities in your presentations and your rationality. You find a manner in which you can find things from done this in your spirit world. Sophisticated entryment in your subject matter.
Consider your journey
as long as knowing it.
I am living in an concept, liberating an idea, distinct and honorable. You seem to be like yourself. You find your rules and regulations. Personality is meant to appear in many characters and not being a double. Life to your pragmatic world. Found often in the state and avoiding the limelight. Prefer not to be recognized. Hiding the face because the road is taking time.
I wish long
Introduction always in admitting your.
analogy.
Turning down the invitation to beginning to wish, but deload with the people asking about it. Imprint your life